Hey there, Chris Moore here. In this video, I'm going to show you my method for putting together a nicely designed blog post in WordPress. So here we are on workwithkevinmarino.com. This is a site that I helped to build. And my first thing to do is take the copy. In this case, this is the copy for the new blog post. And what I'm going to do is just simply copy that entire thing. It's off screen right now. Copy that entire thing and then come into the back end of WordPress under all posts. Then I'm going to add a new post. So this one was entitled Embracing Fear. Now it's only 2 words. I personally would recommend that you have some sort of how embracing fear, or what happens when you embrace fear, something that's a little bit more descriptive of why the person should read this particular blog post. So I'm going to go ahead and advise, once I finish this, I'm going to advise my client, to maybe reword this and make it a little more of a catchier title. But for now, I'm just kind of showing you the process. All right, so I'm going to paste in that content that I took from the document. Now, keep in mind if you're pasting from something like Word or other types of word processors, it can sometimes bring in foreign content and mess up the display. This is a very, very important point. So what I usually like to do for pasting in the text is to go over to the text version of the editor. So not the visual, but the text version. So then I paste that in. Then I can go back to the visual version and not have to worry about any bad formatting coming over from Word or any other word processor. So then the first thing I do is start to break things up. So you want things to be in more bite-sized sections, and as you can see, I'm deleting a space and then I'm hitting enter. Otherwise, there's too large of a gap between paragraphs. There's lots of little tiny tricks like that, so you want to kind of have it smooth like this. All right, so the next thing is I kind of scan and see where there are more, I guess, more or less logical breaks, because we don't want to have large paragraphs of text. The best formatted blog posts and the easiest to read are those that you can quickly scan. Yes, unfortunately, people are not going to read every single word of every single one of your blog posts. So it's nice to be able to format them in a way that will engage people, and if they are interested, they can read more. Otherwise, they can scan and get some overall benefit from your content. So we want to avoid, kind of large paragraphs like this. Even though in a book context, that is not a large paragraph. But online, it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to break these up a little bit more and make it a little snappier. So I'm just going to kind of scan here really quick. I'm actually going to pause the video while I do this so I don't waste your time viewing this. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So as you can see, I broke this up a little bit more. Yes, it looks like most of this is just 1 sentence per line. That may not always be the case. Sometimes I have 2 sentences, as you can see. In this case, here I also have 2 sentences strung together, and here as well. Another thing I would like to point out, and what I would always recommend, is that you actually have transitional section headings. So this article did not provide me with any section headings, so I'm not unfortunately going to be able to create them, but in the future, I would recommend starting off with some kind of intro, right? And then once you transition to a new topic, you're going to have your new topic sub headline here, right? And then what you're going to do is just while you're on that line, what you can do is select paragraph and then choose a heading 2. You can have multiple heading 2s throughout your blog post. So I do that, and now it breaks up, I guess you could say, the monotony of just having a long list of text, and it re-engages people when you have these sub-headlines, subtopics throughout your blog post, and those will always be a heading 2. And I typically don't put one at the very beginning because you want to get right into your first sentence, right? And your first sentence is really going to determine whether or not they're going to keep on reading. So we want to break up blog posts into subsections with these subheadlines, which are heading to settings. So for now, I'm going to delete this because, like I said, they weren't provided in this text. And yeah, so moving on, that's pretty much it. And we're always going to save a draft while we're building this and make sure that we don't lose our work. Another thing, like I mentioned, is we probably want a little bit better title here. You can then come back and edit the URL. So if we ended up saying how to embrace fear, right? And let's just say embracing fear and how it can change everything. I think that's actually kind of cool. So let me reword this: embracing fear, change everything. You know, because we don't want our URLs to be super, super, super long. So embracing fear, change everything. We want it to be kind of short and succinct. And when people see that, then maybe those are some keywords for them, like embracing, like fear, like change, and like those three words are pretty good trigger words. So we're going to save this. So I went ahead and reworded it after all. But that's what I would do, is you want an enticing and an interesting headline, usually with something like how to, or this type of thing, so that people are more interested in reading it. All right, so the kind of final piece here is our featured image, and that is the image that shows up on the blog, like this one: hope, despair, walk the talk, this image, excuses be gone, no excuses. And so you know, you can research these on certain sites that provide legally usable images that you are free to use on your blog and your website. And my favorite two, I guess, are probably pixabay.com right here and pexels.com. Those are probably my two favorite. One of the reasons I like this one is they actually allow you to download different size and even a custom size. So this particular blog that I'm working on, the size that we need, and I usually go to what's called inspect. You know, in Chrome and other browsers have this, and as you can see, when I was hovering here, did you see that shaded blue area? It actually says 842 is the width. So I'm actually going to go with something like, you know, 850 or 860 for my width when I actually find my image. 850 would be fine in this case. So, you know, every blog is different, every WordPress site is different, but you have to kind of find out what the optimal image width is before you commit to a download. And this is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they'll come here and just like get a 3,000 pixels width, which is going to be a huge file size and slows down your site. So always try to customize your images to the correct size that's needed before you actually commit to uploading it to the WordPress site. So obviously this isn't the right image for this, so let's go back and think about what the topic is here. We've got embracing fear and how it can change everything. So I'm going to search for brave or bravery, right? So this is kind of cute. You know, I actually would go with something like that, but that might be kind of scary because it looks like the kids might fall over. So this might be interesting to do. You know, it all depends on how jarring you want to be. This actually might be really good. Embracing fear, you know, how many people would sit on a ledge and put their feet out like that, right? Let me also search on this site as well, search for brave. You have to kind of be creative and see the same image popped up. So I'm actually going to go with this site because, remember, I want to have exactly 850. I'm going to go ahead and download this. And it's started to download. Then what I'm going to do, and this is for SEO purposes or search engine optimization. So a lot of people also make this mistake, is they just take the image, and as you can see this image right here, I'm opening it right here. It says Pexels photo. That's not really very descriptive, right? And when people are searching for content in Google, you want to give more ways for them to be able to discover your content over other people's content. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this image, and I'm actually doing this in another window. Let's see if I can bring it over here. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to say feet, hanging, building, embrace fear, which is kind of related to the blog post, right? And I'm going to say change. So I'm getting some, SEO value. Now, I'm not saying this is the perfect and best way to do it. It's not. There's a whole discussion of search engine optimization, and I'm not making any claims here, but this is better than Pexel's image, right? Or whatever. So this is a lot better than that. All right, so now that we got the correct size, 850 in width, like we earlier determined, we're going to now go to the site, and I'm actually going to upload it to the media library. And you may be asking, why am I going to the media library when actually in the posts area for that post, there's actually a way to go ahead and just upload the featured image right here on the right. And I'll explain. So on this particular site and all the websites that I build for clients is I actually have a plugin called Imagify, which helps to compress and make the file size smaller for uploaded images. And I like that to process before I actually use that image and select it for the featured image for the blog post. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this image and upload it into the media library in WordPress. Wait for it to do its thing. Now it's done. Then I go and look in the library and let it optimize. As you can see, this process is happening right now. And this is a plugin called Imagify, which is free. And you can optimize your images. And as you can see, look at this. It got a 21% file size saving, meaning that the image will load faster and be easier for people to download and view on their mobile devices and whatever. So I can then also compare, if you want to compare the original. So look at this. The original is on the left of the slider, and the optimized one is on the right. And if you slide back and forth, I can barely see any difference at all. But we got a 21% savings. That means it'll load a lot faster. So there you have it. Occasionally this doesn't work, right? So you have to restore the original right here on the right because maybe the image just looks bad. So you can restore the image, the original, but always make sure that your images are not hundreds of kilobytes or worse, a megabyte or 2 megabytes. That's horrible. You want them to be 100 to 400, 500 pixels, kilobytes, sorry, at the most. This one's 136. I think that's really good for a featured image on a blog post. All right, so coming back to the blog post, I just realized that I am the author right here, so I need to change that. It's all the way at the bottom, and I'm going to change that to my client, who is Kevin. And I'm going to save the draft again. And then finally, now I can add that image as the featured image. So I'm going to go over here and choose it from my media library, set the featured image, there it is. Then I'm going to go up, and I'm actually ready at this point to go ahead and publish this. So I'm going to publish it. Prior to this, I was saving drafts. Now I'm actually going to commit to publishing it. And you can see how the draft looks before, but I'm fairly good at doing all this stuff, so I'm pretty good and knowing that this is ready. All right, so here we go. There it is, Embracing Fear and How It Can Change Everything by Kevin Marino. Now it is in the general category, so we want to go and fix that. So let's see, Embracing Fear. This would probably be under personal development. Get rid of general. Personal development fits well here, I think, and we're going to go update that now. And now it's published in the correct category that makes sense for this post. I'm just waiting for it to save and then go back to the front. And you see here it changed to personal development. And there you have it. So when we click through and have a look, nice big image, very clear, Embracing Fear and How It Can Change Everything. Organized. Like I said, it would be better if there were section breaks with the header to font size. But there you have it. I mean, that's from A to Z and how you can professionally and nicely optimize and publish a well-designed, I think, WordPress blog post. I hope this helps and have a wonderful day. Feel free to reach out anytime. Chris Moore signing off from Fire Up Your Online Business. Take care.